Every major chronic or autoimmune disease could be cured just by changing your lifestyle. I always used to wonder, why is medical science so prevalent right now, and why do we always go to hospitals and take expensive treatments and medicines? But then I really understand that we only go to medical science just at the last moment when nothing could be done. But what if I tell you that we, by changing our lifestyle and adopting certain good habits, can even reverse and prevent chronic diseases and autoimmune diseases? When I talk about chronic diseases, it could be cancer. And when I talk about autoimmune diseases, it can be any autoimmune diseases which is actually going against your system. In this very powerful episode with Dr. Rachna, who is an autoimmune healer and an epigenetic coach, we discuss how any chronic condition and autoimmune condition could be reversed by just changing our lifestyles. Dr. Rachna beautifully explains the power of yoga, the power of diet, and the power of actually changing your breath by controlling your breath, and how these three very powerful tools, if combined, can lead you to the life or can give you the life that medical science can really not. Dr. Rachna also discusses a very powerful program that she has created called the RachnaRestores Protocol, which actually gives step-by-step instructions that anyone can follow at any stage of their diseases to actually reverse it. This was our very first science-oriented podcast in which we actually went into the details and the science of diseases. How do they crop up? What are the ways in which we could prevent it? And how we can have a healthy lifestyle in a hope that we never do get to such chronic conditions. You'll be really amazed by the level of science and by the level of knowledge Dr. Rachna shares in this episode, and I highly urge you guys to watch it till the end. And like I always request, if you are liking the kind of content that we are bringing out and the kind of authors that we're getting on a podcast, it's a humble request. Please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy this episode. Thank you. Dr. Rachna, thank you so much for accepting the invite and agreeing to be a part of Discovery of an Author podcast. I'm very thrilled and very happy that I have someone like you on the podcast and we can go into the science of health. I'm so excited for that. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here. Any platform like yours that spreads the message of the correct scientific information for people to understand how easy it is to heal themselves is something I'm committed to.
Yeah. Dr. Rachna, your credentials and what you have done and what you're doing is really remarkable. So I'm going to tell the viewers a little bit about you. You are a Cancer Metastasis Expert, Autoimmune Healer, Epigenetics Coach, and you also have a patented protocol which you call the RachnaRestores Protocol, which includes functional nutrition, therapy, yoga, training, breath work, and epigenetics healing to repair the DNA level. That is absolutely remarkable, and you have clients all over the world, 27 or 28, 30 countries. You have helped people with cancer treatments as well, helping and nurturing them, self-healing in autoimmune conditions as well. And you are also a certified yoga teacher. You did, I think, 200 hours of, this was Ashtanga yoga, Iyengar yoga. Which type of yoga is this for?
At the Yoga Institute, which is India's oldest yoga institute.
Iyengar yoga, right?
Ashtanga.
Ashtanga yoga. And you have authored 5 best-selling books as well, and amazing. Restore, one was on cancer, and one was on diet, Sattvic diet as well, the Indian diet, right? And this is your latest book on managing autoimmune conditions, which I absolutely found fascinating. And the RachnaRestores Protocol is just brilliant, and we're going to go deep into it. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Dr. Rachna? Any other work that you would want people to know about? Any of the organizations that you've started? Happy to hear that more, what you are doing, apart from what I just read.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It was a long journey of a lot of studying. When your child is small and they are also studying for their exams, and then you're also studying, it becomes, a bit of a bigger struggle to do that. But there were moments of joy and laughter in that. The only thing I'd like to add about is the foundation that I run, which is Kindness Practice Foundation. When we are kind to ourselves, when we are kind to nature, our mental health and nature both flourish. So the underlying message of this foundation is to help people with self-care, help people with the right nutrition, and connect mental health to what you eat, connect mental health to nature, so that these three different verticals can be demonstrated as linked to each other.
So you're talking about self-care, you're talking about mental health, and you're talking about nature. Are these the three verticals that you're trying to integrate?
No, self-care is part of mental health.
Okay.
Mental health, nutrition, sustainability. These are the three which are connected to each other.
What is sustainability?
Sustainability is caring for the earth in some way or the other.
Acha, okay.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
living sustainably, reducing your carbon footprint. These are all connected back. You look at the two parallels today, Raghav. Our health is declining, the health of the planet is declining. It's always going to be interconnected. We are destroying what actually heals us. So then, nature is making its backlash.
So basically, we are destroying our only chance of survival, and then we say ki why we are deteriorating as a civilization or on an individual level as well.
Yeah. So long back, Albert Einstein said that when bees become extinct, within a few years, the human beings will also become extinct. Now, where will the bees go and live? Because we are destroying the forest, we are destroying their natural habitats. We don't need to. It's greed. I frequent Europe and London a lot. It's amazing. A city like London, heart of London, you have so many green areas. They will not touch them. But over here, nobody is listening. Forests are being cut for the sake of housing. Housing itself has become so haphazard. So property prices are now coming down because supply is too much, but the greed of whoever it is.
So in a way, specifically in the country that we're living in right now, यहाँ पर आप बोल रहे हो ज़्यादा ही बुरे हाल हैं.
Because there is no policy against that and there is no lobby in favor of conservation. That's why I hope, someone wakes up to understand. Yes, I know that people are talking about and doing solar plants and rainwater harvesting, but it's very far and few.
Yeah, it's very far and few. I think I was in Pondicherry, I was in Auroville. Over there, I saw something very remarkable. I don't know if you've been there or are you aware of Auroville? But
Yeah,
when I went to Auroville for the first time and when I saw, that was a place wherein everything started for the very first time in India. Organic farming, organic dairy, solar panels, prevention. So that very small area was the hub of innovation when it comes to environmental conservation and how still we can live in a very harmonious way. All the people in the world were allowed to invite. And I was amazed that why this model is not getting replicated. And then I got to know that now even Auroville is coming directly under the scrutiny of the government of India and they are destroying that society. They are uprooting the trees. They are breaking down all the environmental solutions that they have created, the huts that they have made, and everything has been completely destroyed.
Why is that?
For greed. They want to build more roads. They want to expand that place. They want to have more buildings. They are starting, and I'm not scared of saying it, they are starting more RSS sansthas in Auroville. It had nothing to do with RSS. Absolutely nothing. It was an experimental town to live in a complete, unity whilst loving the nature. What exactly you said, the integration. If we are kind to ourselves, if we're kind to nature, we can see miracles happening. Miracles were happening over there. Human-led miracles were happening over there. Sorry for the interruption, but our YouTube statistics show that around 65% of all of you who are consistently consuming our episodes are not subscribing to our channel. So this is my request to all of those who do enjoy our content and are finding value in it to please subscribe to our channel. This is the only way in which we can grow. Thank you and please continue watching and listening. to this episode?
No, I don't necessarily agree. I feel that the government is doing a lot of good. Um, there is a method to do this.
Yeah.
You need permissions, you need, and it's right, you can't live in anarchy. So the government is there to give permissions. There are solar plants coming up. When we drive from Bombay to Pune, on the outskirts of Pune, there are so many societies where on the roofs I see solar
Yeah.
panels. So where societies have a way where we raise our hands, we can get all the permissions and do things. And the only thing that stops people from doing it is for both for rainwater harvesting and for solar plants is the cost of investment, right? But now the government is supporting that. I
Yeah.
think there's a tax rebate. We are working with Tata Power, which has a solar plant in Tirunelveli, where we go for. So they really take care of their community, and they, have tied up with a foundation to take care of the mental health and malnutrition aspects of their community over there. So it's not that things are not happening. It emanates from us. Everything, you can't say that the government is to blame, Raghav. Ultimately, who is responsible for the carbon footprint? I have to take responsibility.
And I
You have
think even
responsibility.
we are responsible for the government to in the first place. We are the ones who are electing the government as well. So that factor is also there. The onus
Yeah,
will
but
come to us.
I'm no. So I'm saying, why is there environmental degradation is because of consumption. The government is not consuming, it's us. It is the citizens who are consuming. So it's very easy to, blame the government for everything. But I disagree. There is a method to, you know, making a community impact. And there are channels to make a community impact. And then you do a project and then you go to the government. I find the government very, very amiable. So
And
we did a
supportive.
and supportive, because we did a project with the Tourism Finance Corporation India, cancer awareness camps across the country. So supportive. So they're very supportive about a lot of projects, but they also they don't have experts in house.
Yeah, yeah,
Someone has to come and
yeah,
it's the same thing as in the private sector. No one is thinking of it from that
yeah,
perspective, saying, I am responsible. I take responsibility.
yeah.
It's the same thing about health, Raghav. No one says, I am responsible. डॉक्टर ने बोला तो मैं अपने आप को डॉक्टर पे समर्पण कर दूं. So if the doctor says I'll not get okay, I'll not fight only.
Yeah, yeah.
So the problem is within us.
But I think it's a very deep-rooted problem. I'll give you an example. Let's
Hmm.
let's take an example with respect to this ecosystem in the book. Now, and we'll go into the details. I wait for something tragic to happen to my body to then realize that I need to take some action. This ideology is so deeply rooted in our mind and body. It's become a habit. अभी जैसे मैं आपको होलिस्टिक हेल्थ के बारे में पूछूंगा और हम उसमें जाएंगे.
जी.
आपको किसी को पता भी होगा होलिस्टिक हेल्थ क्या है, किसी को पता भी होगा कि योगा से ये हो सकता है, भाई ब्रेथ से ये होता है, अच्छा खाना खाना चाहिए, बाहर का नहीं खाना. दे नो, बट दे आर नॉट गोना इंप्लीमेंट. मेजॉरिटी, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एवरीवन, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल आर नॉट गोना इंप्लीमेंट अनलेस एंड अंटिल समथिंग अमेजिंगली बैड हैपेंस टू देयर बॉडीज और देयर माइंड्स और द पीपल अराउंड देम. When that happens, when that situation comes up, your only solution obviously is to go to the allopathic way, because they are really pioneers of handling the end moment crisis.
Emergency.
Emergency.
They're pioneers of
Of
emergency.
emergency. They are pioneers of emergency.
For life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you can avoid it.
Absolutely. And that's what we are trying to understand right now. But before we go into it, Dr. Rachna, it's story time. I really want people to know where you're coming from. That's a very powerful story that you mentioned, which you personally had, the disease that you had, and a lot of things happened, and how you came out of it. It was very inspirational. And from that, where you are right now, it's truly remarkable, Dr. Rachna. So I would want you to share your own personal journey with the disease that you did fight a long time back. What really happened? You can go a little bit into details of things you started doing, and then we're going to go into the details of the protocol as well. But let's hear the story, Dr. Rachna. It's going to inspire a lot of people. We can start.
Thank you. So in 2006, I was Vice President Business Development of GE Money, a Fortune 50 company in consumer finance. And I had just won the top award because I had closed a very big business deal, and I was globetrotting, and life was really great. Our daughter was 8 years old at that time, and I was young. We were happening, partying. So partying, working, partying, working, that was the life. I used to have a coffee mug. I used to drink coffee at that time, which said, "Sleep when you're dead." Okay. So I would catch up on my sleep at airports in the flight. I would sleep less, drink more coffee, uh, party hard, and I used to eat healthy. It's not like I didn't eat healthy. And then I had a collapse. So I had rheumatoid arthritis. I'll not go into details of how it was diagnosed and everything. And the rheumatologist said that, you've got to take chemo drugs, steroids, immunosuppressants. So I actually went to the rheumatologist and came back because I was in denial. I was like, no, no, no. I've been, since I was 13 years old, I've been this, really exercise and eating right person. And because 13 years old, I was very overweight and I lost weight like that. So this can't be happening to me. So I tried homeopathy, I tried Ayurveda, I spoke to my orthopedic. The end result was that my pain was not going away, and it was so bad that I couldn't walk. Then I started this is I'm saying in the span of 2-3 months, I did my experimentation. Then I started on the chemo drugs. So methotrexate is a chemo drug. They give you steroid for a few weeks, because methotrexate takes a few weeks to start working. So till then, the steroids reduce inflammation, and immunosuppressants start working also in 3 to 4 weeks time. For 6 months, everything worked. I started feeling better. Then, then I conceived, and we went to the gynecologist. God bless her. They were also friends, and she was very upfront with me. She said, "You are on methotrexate. There's a very high chance of the child having deformities. Do you want to bring this kind of trauma, first of all, to the child? Secondly, you're not in any state to look after another child." So, June 2007, I underwent an abortion. And then it was, women's hormones, abortion, autoimmune. I had rheumatoid arthritis. It is listed as an incurable condition. The rheumatologist told me, if you don't take my drugs, you are going to be bedridden and deformed for the rest of your life. While on the drug, my knees, ankles, wrists, knuckles, and right elbow got deformed and destroyed as per scans. So the drugs did not help me. Um, there came a turning point where the pain was so high that Vikram, I don't like to call him my husband, he's more, we're equal partners, lovers, friends. He couldn't even hold my hand lightly. I would yell in pain. And to give a context of the kind of pain, I had a 36-hour labor with Aradhana, our daughter. It was a cakewalk in comparison to the pain I was feeling with rheumatoid arthritis. Um, we went to the doctor. I was taken to his clinic, and Aradhana and Vikram were in front at the reception area. And in a span of 45 to 60 minutes, I was jabbed with 13 injections in my bones, in the knuckles, in the wrists. Uh, it would have been 14, but my left thumb was so swollen that the needle wouldn't go in. He kept jabbing. I was yelling my lungs out, Raghav. And, I think that memory has traumatized Aradhana till this day. So we came back home. I don't remember any of it. After we came back, I don't remember anything for 3 days. I'm told I was up and about. I'm told I went to the washroom. I'm told I had some water and all that stuff. But I have no memory. 3 days later, I came around and had a conscious mind awareness. And I limped to the living room. I think it was a Saturday, so both my life supports were in the living. All three of my life supports. We had Joshua, our Labrador, who was also there. And that was the day I decided, okay, this is not how I'm going to live. So I took the pills and I flushed them down the toilet because I needed to have the strength of no way out. And I was angry. I was angry with myself. I was angry with God. I was angry with the doctor. You know, every autoimmune warrior goes through this. Why me? Because it's such a debilitating condition. And you are living, and the doctors are saying, oh, this is not life-threatening. But you're not living. And the drugs can cause multiple organ failure. So the average age of death for a rheumatoid arthritis patient is 62, 63. Not because of the disease, but because of the multiple organ failure that the drugs cause. So that was my tipping point, and I said, okay, I'm done with this. What's my worst case scenario? Nothing will work. I will waste away. I will need to go back to, the doctor. I'll do it. But I've got to find another way. And that's how the hit and try started. And I think the universe had my back. I'm very, very sure someone up there was there for me to find this path. So I found it for myself. How I found it is in the book. Later, I discovered that everything that I was doing is scientifically connected to prove that I was improving, that my inflammation was dying out. I just made a simple connection that autoimmune means something wrong with my immunity. Inflammation means that I'm doing something to trigger this internal inflammation. So is it my food? Today, I know it was my thoughts. I was a very high-strung person. I was, your typical go-getter type A, wanting to get done, jobs done fast, hurried, quick thinker, on my feet, all that. That's why I was so successful in the corporate sector. But that's what triggered the disease in me at that moment.
You're very brave, Dr. Rachna. And the beautiful part about this entire journey was that you cracked a code which is now helping others. That I think is the plan that, whosoever up there had for you, that maybe she's the one who will be able to go through it and create a magical cure and help others as well. And I think that is what we need right now. And because I have read your book in entirety, believe me, I mean, this was equally soul stirring for me to, hear that narration from you. Because when I was reading, I became very emotional. Thank you for narrating this story. Thank you, actually, for telling your journey. Dr. Rachna, now I want to understand, let's start with the basics. What is an autoimmune condition, or an autoimmune disease, or an autoimmune disorder? Let's understand. Teach me like a child.
So an autoimmune condition is where the immune system attacks you. The role of the immune system is to protect us. But when our immune system attacks us in different autoimmune conditions, there are different parts of the body that they attack. It means that the conflict is within us. Now, you can't come back to me and tell me that I have no conflict, Rachna.
No.
Every human being has a conflict. Post-COVID, just in India, I think autoimmune cases have risen by 30%.
30%. That is a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
Given the population of this country, that is a lot.
Yes. So what does the doctor do? the doctor will give drugs for temporary relief, and the doctor will tell you and counsel you saying, sorry, this is incurable. Now you, as a warrior, have to take your power back because the doctor is already saying it is incurable. It is a young person's disease. I have treated 9-year-old girls. 80% of warriors are women. Having said that, the 20% that I have in my patient base are emotionally sensitive, amazing men who also have it. And this number is rising. So, for example, in rheumatoid arthritis, what I had, it attacks your small joints, synovial joints, and then it slowly starts debilitating your organs and all. So there's something known as a rheumatic heart also. So, ultimately it starts eating at everything. Because inflammation eats everything inside. Inflammation is the root cause of all diseases.
So inflammation is one of the, you're saying inflammation is the root cause of all diseases as well autoimmune.
Yes. It's as well as cancer.
इन्फ्लेमेशन का मतलब क्या होता है? गैस बनना?
नहीं.
इसको नहीं. Okay.
Inflammation is internal inflammation, which means that there are certain markers which I have put in the book. That markers are
Yes.
inflammation. If they are high without a fever, cold, cough, flu, or any other reason, then it's called chronic inflammation. Acute
Yeah.
inflammation is very good for us because it fights the fever off. Because it's the immune system's way of protecting us. But the immune system cannot protect when there is chronic inflammation because it becomes weaker and weaker and weaker over a period of time. Chronic means lamba period. Okay. If I was to simply describe autoimmune diseases versus any other condition, एक नॉर्थ इंडिया में एक saying है, सारी खुदाई एक तरफ, जोरू का भाई एक तरफ.
Yeah.
वो जोरू का भाई है. बाकी जो diseases है वो सारी खुदाई है. So, which is why medical science raises its hand and says, sorry, we don't know how to treat it. I can give you, you have anxiety, I'll give you an anxiety pill. You have pain, I will give you a painkiller. You have immune system defaulting, I will give you immunosuppressants. So it is, piecemeal treatment for every symptom. There is brain fog. There is, feverish feeling all the time, especially in the eyes. The eyes get impacted, the ears get impacted. Of course, the organs get impacted, the joints get impacted. I'm supposed to be not walking. I'm supposed to be bedridden. So, we have a wonderful, wonderful orthopedic who works with our foundation. And first time he saw my scans, and, he said it on stage at the book launch. That when I first saw Rachna's scans, I said, whose are these? This person is not supposed to be, walking. They need surgery for this. So I did this. He said, but you're fine. I said, yeah, I'm fine. Defying what limited knowledge medical science has based on the fact that medical science acknowledges that they only know about the 10% of the conscious brain, not the 90% subconscious brain. That's where your power comes. Because at a negative note, it's your subconscious brain, which since childhood has stored trauma. Suppress, 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 suppress. But when you make that effort to release that subconscious trauma and nurture your mind and body, is when the miracle happens. It's not difficult.
So you're saying that childhood traumas and
Yes.
what gets stored because of that in your mind and body,
Yes.
if not understood or acknowledged or looked at or resolved, eventually will lead to something chronic that will then show up in your ecosystem of the body and the mind. And those chronic things are what we call, it could be anything. It could be autoimmune disorders, it could be a cancer, it could be anything. Because
Correct.
even I have heard about a cancer that
Yes, cancer, and I
यही
treat cancer.
चीजें, हाँ, yeah.
Yes. So childhood trauma in cancer, suppression in cancer, 3 to 5 years before the advent of the disease, some incident, which is your tipping point. All these things Ultimately, Raghav, your mind drives disease or well-being.
I mean, it's very counter to what we have known. It's when you say your mind drives diseases, it's
Everything is perspective.
it's you know it's you're saying. I mean, it's right, but again the educated mind is not able to digest कि ये कैसे हो सकता है.
But in 90% of the cases, what do we do? Typical day. You wake up in the morning, you've slept for 7 hours, which is supposed to be adequate, but you're tired. And you don't listen to your mind when it tells you you're tired. You don't listen to your body,
No.
your eyes are like guti hui and all that stuff. You push yourself through. You have your tea or coffee. A lot of people come to me saying, oh, we can't do without our morning tea because that's an addiction.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, food is an addiction, right? So you push through the day. If you're working, you push through going to work. If you're not working, you in any case have so much responsibility of the home and everything, kids and food and taking care of the home. Where is the time to rest?
Yeah.
Then you come back home in the evening completely tired. You haven't spent any time for yourself, with yourself. You haven't spent any time with your loved ones. You come back, you're exhausted, still on your phone, scrolling, either responding to emails, or then you say, oh, this is my me time, so I will look at Instagram or I will look at something else, but on my phone. That's how you finish your dinner, get cleaned up, go to sleep. You're repeating this cycle daily, every week after week, month after month, year after year. That is how chronic inflammation builds up because you're not listening to your body. You're not cognitive of the signs that it's giving you. It's talking to you, saying, hey, buddy, I need a rest. The cells of your body are saying, hey, I know you slept 7 hours, but today we need 9. Who does that?
So you're saying this is how the body talks, and when even I hear people saying that listen to the body, this is how it gives you
Talk
or
to you, yeah.
communicates, right?
Yeah, it communicates. Then it communicates saying frequent acidity. What does that mean? It means your gut is getting compromised. It's getting destroyed. Your gut is the route to nutrient absorption, to your immune system getting
Yeah.
healed. Then comes the frequent cold coughs and flus. Another sign, skin pigmentation, hair fall. Another sign, allergies, asthma. Another sign. How many signs do we ignore? It's all connected to the immune system.
Now, Dr. Rachna, one very interesting thing about the mind and the body, is it a fact that childhood traumas, be it an abuse, be it something that you saw, be it something that happened to you when your mind and body was very small and vulnerable, can get stored in the body as well? So you are saying there's a memory of the body as well. Those traumas are there in the body, you're saying, that
Where
can be
is
stored within the body, not just the mind.
Raghav, where is the mind?
It's in the, I mean, it is in a way, the brain is a part of the body itself, you know.
Brain is an organ. Where's your mind?
Mind is, I mean, I don't
Is
know, where is the mind?
your mind is your being. It's your emotional immune system. In my book, I have written about physical immune system and
Yep.
emotional immune system and provided scientific data around it. Now, when our emotional immunity gets suppressed in some way or the other, and trauma is not something that is common for everyone. People look
Yeah.
at trauma and say, okay, there was physical abuse or there was emotional abuse. No, a situation that I may perceive as traumatic, you may say, Arey, she's overthinking it. But that is my journey, right? So the personality of an autoimmune warrior is, first of all, highly intelligent, highly emotionally sensitive.
Yes, this was there. Yep.
Yes. What what does that combination come with? Overthinking.
Mm. Anxiety, anxiousness.
Overthinking causes anxiety, no? Ultimately, it is the traumatic thoughts that will trigger the anxiety in the body. So that's how it happens. And I'm saying this is now true for a lot of other diseases as well. And when people start changing the way they think, the way they react or respond to stress, that is when disease starts reducing. I'm not saying I'm going to be healthy for the rest of my life and live to 100, but till the day I am alive, can I give myself the respect and quality of life I deserve? Or do I want to be in and out of hospital? You missed out one book I had written called Alive.
Alive, yes.
Alive captures that entire thing of how to live every day with that dignity and respect.
So it seems that there are now way that my mind is working now, there are so many things. See, Dr. Rachna, the problem is that I do understand that these are lifestyle related conditions that eventually do add up as well. I, as an individual, I'm 36, I still do not know myself completely. Understanding that there are so many parameters that can lead up to an autoimmune condition can become very overwhelming to somebody as well. There could be the other side of the story when people flips, they're like, I will never be able to manage it because, oh my God, stress, inflammation, anxiety, lifestyle, conditions where I am living, my job, my relationship, my everything, it becomes so overwhelming. And then you're like, for somebody who doesn't know myself, I don't know what I want to eat, I don't know when to say no, I have so many problems, and on top of that, you want me to handle and understand my biological makeup, to understand my environment, to do something about it, the stress and everything. These things can also be overwhelming. And it can also go against you. It can demotivate you completely. Ki, yaar, this is a university which I am not prepared for.
Absolutely.
How do you handle that when patients come to you and they're like, मेरे लिए बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है?
So, 99.9% of the time when an autoimmune patient signs up with me, the first session they only cry. They just cry. So this is the journey of Jayashree Gupta in the book, ankylosing spondylitis warrior and Hashimoto's warrior. She had both. She said, even during the book launch, she said in a 1 hour session for 55 minutes, I cried. Why? Because you're just so overwhelmed. Exactly what you said, Raghav. They are so overwhelmed with the myriad symptoms and the doctor saying kuch nahi ho sakta, and Dr. Google saying, oh my God, because Google will always give you the worst case scenarios. Why? Because Google legally wants to protect itself. Naturally. So it will lay it on thick. Right. And then when the patient comes to me demotivated, broken, in pain, tried many things and not succeeded, no hope. This is a common trait. What do? They surrender to the path.
Dr. Rachna, what I wanted to ask you is that, कुछ clarify करिए आप. Is cancer and also a form of an autoimmune disease or condition or disorder? Then how do you categorize cancer as against all these autoimmune conditions? Where does it come?
Cancer is curable. Autoimmune is incurable.
But then it depends on the stage, right? In cancer, it depends on the stage, or at any stage by any practices is what the protocol that you have mentioned in the book, which we're going to come at, could also be applicable to cancer. It basically is what I wanted to understand. So that's why I was trying to bracket them both.
I have a book called You Can Beat Cancer.
There's a book, yes.
Which specifically talks about cancer. In cancer, you get some parts of your life back. When you heal, a lot of your food options open up. You can skip a couple of things and if you follow the 70-30 rule, you're good and the cancer won't come back. In autoimmune, it's a non-bailable offense.
Got it.
Either you follow the path if you want a high quality of life, or you live
miserably.
Yes.
Makes sense. So autoimmune are conditions which are not curable, but they are manageable. And then you have to live with that management.
If you go the medical science part.
But what we are going to discuss, if you go in the holistic way, let's say the holistic way, which combines a lot of verticals, it is also curable. And then you'll need to follow those protocols to make sure that it doesn't jump back in. That's what you're saying. That's the difference.
Yes. I will say something very simple. Someone has gained 20 kgs by eating ice creams, chocolates, and carbonated drinks and not exercising. Then they eat healthy food and they exercise and they lose the 20 kgs. So that's the new normal. Then when they go back to the old normal of eating ice cream, cakes, and all that, they will gain the 20 kgs back. Any disease is like that. You can cure yourself from any disease. But when you go back to the life that gave you the disease, that's when it comes back. It's the same with autoimmune. So the path is not difficult.
When you realize, and the moment when you flush down your pills, okay, that was like कि I have now no other option than to make sure that I go through with it. ठीक है. अब इस इतनी सीरियस चीज है ये, इतनी सीरियस कंडीशन थी wherein everybody in your family was getting affected in the way that they were feeling helpless, they were feeling bad, they were feeling sorry as well, but you only know what you were going through. इस चीज में how did you start even to know that what verticals I need to shake in order to understand what could heal me? तो पहले आप मुझे बताइए ये डिस्कवरी का जेनेसिस कैसे हुआ? How did you even think कि मैं कहां जाऊं ढूंढने? ये मैं जानना चाहता हूं.
So the first connect that I made was it's an autoimmune condition, which means there's something wrong with my immunity. At that point in time, I thought of the food, changing my food
बिल्कुल.
was connected to immunity. At that point in time, I only understood food. Then I thought there's inflammation. So there must be something inflammatory in my lifestyle. At that time, I didn't think about the inflammatory overthinking brain, but I thought about inflammatory foods again. So even if you start very simple and you say, what's on my plate? And it goes back to being in touch with the signs of your body, right? So I would eat something, what I thought was nutritious, and I was a voracious reader, I still am, but I was more at that time. So I would read a lot, and I did have an advanced knowledge of nutrition because I was interested in it. And uh, I would wait for 36 to 48 hours to see if there was a symptom. Is my inflammation higher? Which is recognized by the fact that is your pain level higher or are your joints warm? So I would be cognitive of the fact and keep an eye on it. Or is it lower? If it is lower, I repeat the food. If it is not, I eliminate that food. I eliminated a lot of foods, which is there in the book, on the basis of the signals that my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also managed some of the symptoms and extreme pain with wax baths.
Wax bath.
Yes. So you dunk your entire. So my ankles and my feet were very big and black because they were so inflamed, and I couldn't walk. No shoes were, comfortable for me. So there used to be this place close to the house where I used to go, and I would, it was a wax bath place. You dunk your feet in hot wax, and it starts repairing temporarily and gives you relief. And then you take it out. And then I did the same thing with my hands. Um, it gave me temporary relief, but it didn't really work. Nutrition worked fairly miraculously for me for almost 50% of my symptoms. So what was on my plate was healing me up to the level of 50%. But I was not happy with that. I had tried Ayurveda, I had tried homeopathy, it had not worked. Then I said, okay, let me try yoga. I had read in some books, that time Google was not, search engines were not that great. So in some books I had, read about the power of yoga. So there was a very sweet yoga teacher who used to come home and very gently, they were my swollen ankles. He would take my ankle and he would gently rotate. That's how I began yoga. And he would keep telling me, I was still that restless person. And he would keep telling me, ma'am, dhyan karo, dhyan. So I would never sit in pranayam because it would just bore me. So I would say, I'll do later. 10 counts, 20 counts, anulom vilom kiya khatam. I kept trying other things, other foods, other exercise. Nothing was working. So one day I was watching something on TV and I don't know why. That's why I keep saying the universe had my back. I don't know why I remembered Ranvijay sir's, the yoga teacher, words, dhyan karo dhyan. So I'm watching this. I have, an armrest on my sofa. My legs are all straight. I'm very comfortable. And I start doing Anulom Vilom. He had taught me the technique. And I'm watching something. So my overactive brain is engrossed in that. So the other thoughts are not really coming and the breathing is happening. And in some time, I look at my watch and I've done 20 minutes
Of pranayam.
of
Anulom Vilom.
Anulom Vilom. Yeah. There are different kinds of
Yeah,
pranayam.
yeah.
20 minutes of Anulom Vilom. And I was really proud of myself. So I said, okay, this is a technique. And then I said, okay, I will listen to my body again. Normally I would wait for 48 hours. Within 12 hours, I felt better. Within 12 hours.
Of that 20 minutes of Anulom Vilom.
So the next day I did it with music. It had an even higher impact.
Elevated impact, yeah.
Yes, much higher because music therapy, again later. So then I started using music and TV for my overthinking brain as a tool to sit and do my pranayam. 3 weeks, 90% of my symptoms were gone. 90%. 3 weeks.
3 weeks of 20 to 25 minutes of breath work, which is pranayam, which specifically Anulom Vilom, and 90% of your issues were solved.
Because the food I was already sorted on.
हाँ
No?
ठीक है, वो तो एक अपना हो ही रहा था, इम्पैक्ट वो 50% तक वो ले आया था.
हाँ. Now I was at 90%.
ठीक है, so now 2 combinations were present as of now.
Yeah, then I got
90.
my reports done. Then my reports were negative. So I had this major eureka moment in my naive, stupid mind. I thought I had found a cure for an incurable condition. And I very excitedly went to my rheumatologist. And he said, you are in remission, it will come back.
Yeah, it was mentioned in the cure in remission, yeah.
My mind, I was like, okay, why can't I feel like this? If I continue doing this, then why can't I feel like this? I'm not saying, Raghav, I didn't have relapses. I had, and I'm very open about it. But they were never of that severity, and the triggers were very clear so that it helps other warriors. So I had a relapse when my mom passed away. It was such an emotional setback.
So 2 elements were working that at this moment, yoga and, pranayam, breathwork and diet. Let's talk about the other verticals. That how did you then discover the movement part of it, the yoga part of it? How did that come in the picture?
Because 90% of my symptoms were gone, I was able to do yoga.
It was a precursor for that. Makes sense.
Yes, because till your body is not in reduced state of pain, lowered inflammation, and that whole brain fog feeling not going and all that stuff was there. It all vanished. I had a clear mind. So it drove my body to do the yoga. So I was able to do yoga and start to rebuild the destroyed joints because I was rebuilding the muscles around it.
And yoga did help you to rebuild those joints.
Of
It is
course,
a
otherwise I
physical
wouldn't be
exercise,
talking.
and yet
Yeah.
it did. Dr. Rachna, now, what is the Rachna Restores Protocol, and it's the 4 verticals that I could see is rest, repair, recover, and restore. And then there's 6 steps, right? So you have 6 steps, and then you have these 4 verticals called rest, repair, recover, and restore. So let's start with the foundation definition of Rachna Restores Protocol. Who is it for? I know who is it for, but still, just as a definition, let's say I am somebody who's suffering from an autoimmune condition. I come up to you and I want to know everything that you have to offer in a nutshell. Let's start from that. The Rachna Restores Protocol.
First of all, if you're an autoimmune warrior, your doctor is not going to help me, and there is no harm in trying this protocol.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. So try it with an open mind, because nothing else has worked, right? Then use the logic of your mind. You have inflammation, you need to douse it. That is where the first step is rest. Because you need to douse the inflammation completely. You will only have specific anti-inflammatory foods and pranayam, because those both work to douse the inflammation, which is there all over the mind and body and the gut. Now, if you exercise at that point in time, then our digestive system takes up a lot of energy to repair. So you are going to waste that energy, and you just have to rest. I tell a lot of warriors, especially women who also want to lose a little bit of weight, saying, enjoy karo na, 21 to 30 days, koi exercise nahi hai, masti se khao, pranayam karo, happy video dekho, kitab padho. I will add it only later. And they end up still losing weight.
So by rest, you're not saying ki sleep. You are saying just calm down. Calm down. Don't do anything that might put up any kind of stress in your mind and body.
Don't do anything that agitates your system. So calm down.
Okay.
Unhurry. Everything starts with unhurrying.
Yeah.
And you can make out the someone will come to you and say, I do meditation daily, but from their body language, you can make out that they don't even understand the M of meditation.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're fidgety or their response to stress is poor. If the staff in the house has done something, then they will flip it, or in the office, they will flip it. Meditation, it's only maybe 1% of the population that actually does meditation in the true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But even somebody who does guided meditation has a much calmer response. That only starts with rest. So rest. That's the first step. It's a vertical ladder,
Yeah.
Raghav.
Yeah.
So rest. Now, if you rest, the inflammation will die out. Then only can you climb the ladder to start repairing yourself. Now, in the repair work, there is a little bit of movement. Very, very, very little. So
The movement of the body, you mean? The movement of the body.
yes. So there's restorative yoga, which is in the.
Yeah.
So, I'd interviewed Prachi Vasnikar. She's my Europe partner and a restorative yoga teacher and a meditation teacher. So she's given clear steps for restorative yoga on specific asanas to do. All inputs are specific. Please remember, I am a certified Six Sigma from my previous corporate life. So that's why everything is broken down into
processes and details. Yes. And it's very much evident in the book. It was just flawless.
Thank you. Then when you're repairing, you still can't cause oxidative stress to the body, because oxidative stress means inflammation. So over exercise causes oxidative stress. What you did with those deadlifts,
Yeah.
why you got back pain, is because of oxidative stress, which is increased inflammation and put pressure on your spine. Now your spine is your channel of energy and signaling to the brain and from the brain. Don't mess with your spine. So in the repair phase, we do very gentle asanas. Then you start feeling a little better. So from the rest, you felt a little better. From the repair, you felt even, better. You're continuing your pranayam during this journey. That is the key to the foundation of reduction in inflammation. My PhD research was on the clinical impact of Anulom Vilom Pranayam daily for 3 months on inflammation markers autoimmune markers, sleep quality, gut health. You have to see the paper.
Please do send me. I really want to. I want to link it in the podcast bio.
It was, I can't send you the full paper without asking my mentor, but it was crazy in terms of, within 3 weeks the sleep quality became better.
That is remarkable, yaar. I mean, this is such
What
a.
are we doing? Yeah, what are we doing to ourselves? You can't spare 20 minutes for yourself for good health, but you're okay being in and out of hospital.
Which is financially draining as well. I mean, it's not just the mental drainage that happens, it's the
Yeah,
financial
so
drainage as well.
yeah, look at the, trauma you're not just giving to yourself, but your family members.
Family members, right?
Come on. You may be, richer than God because you have insurance and because everything and all that stuff. It's not going to buy you peace of mind. This is what gets you the peace of mind. So then from repair, by the time you reach repair, already your practice of pranayama has become, your
Second nature, your default, something that is showing you results as well.
yeah, yeah. And also your safe space where you enjoy yourself, you lock yourself in the room or you sit by in a park or by the ocean or a river or on your terrace and you're sitting and you're doing it. You're alone with yourself. There is no energy that will heal you more than the energy of yourself. So when I heal people, I tell them, you're doing your pranayam, you can't be with your loved ones, except if it's a dog.
Yeah.
Because dogs only emit positive energy for their owners. So you're feeling much better. Then you're ready for a little more recovery. So that's why the third step is recover.
Recovery.
Yeah. So then there are, along with the food. So first there's simple food, then the food opens up a little bit. Then within the same ecosystem of ingredients, there are more recipes that are added. So people get a little happier, Someone is missing their dosa, so there is a rice dosa. Someone is missing the coconut chutney with the dosa, so there is an almond coriander chutney with rai kadi patte ka tadka, so it tastes like coconut chutney. So there are all those replacement and options that are provided, and more exercises given. That exercise starts repairing the muscles around the joints or giving you able mind and body connect.
And these are yoga exercises only which continue and more get added.
Some are strength training, some of them are, there's also walk at the third stage. Yeah. That's when you reach the stage of finally feeling lucky that, okay, some restoration has happened. You feel better, you feel near normal. So you start feeling that, okay, I have a chance at a normal life.
But restore is not equivalent to the absence of the condition. Or is it? The restore, the last stage, is it equivalent to the absence of condition?
I'll go back. Of course it is. Reports come down back to normal. Clinically, if you followed the steps, then your reports are back to normal. Your symptoms are gone. In some people, we can't achieve that because there's just too much trauma. But all the toxic medications you are on do not have as much of a toxic impact. You can continue them for, maybe the rest of your life in a reduced quantity and still protect your organs. Right? I go back to the same example of weight loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, you lose the weight. So no doctor will tell you, oh, you lost weight, you're in remission. Yeah. It's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah. So once you reach up to the stage of restore, that is when you start feeling that now you have recovered yourself, now you're back. But there is a big but, that this needs to continue and be followed.
Absolutely. It needs to.
Now, Dr. Rachna, these are the 4 verticals, the 4 pillars, as you said, beautifully explained. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 6 steps that constitute these 4 verticals, right? Correct. 6 steps. Hai na? I'm going to name them. Tell me if I missed something or if I've skipped something. Physical nutrition, that is a step 1. Step 2 is emotional nutrition. Step 3 is music for pranayama. 4 is gut repair. 5 is movement. And the 6th, very interesting, I loved it, was talk therapy. Are these the six steps that are under the 4 verticals that you're talking about? So these are the 6 steps, right? Let's start with the first one. What is physical nutrition? And in this, Dr. Rachna, very important question, because right now there's a big battle that is going on in the world right now. I'm going to give you my personal case as well. With the physical nutrition, because I've read the book, why specifically plant-based nutrition? Why specifically plant-based food? Because I'll tell you where I'm coming from. I am somebody who's big on dairy. I'm somebody who's big on protein. I'm somebody who's big on non-veg. I'm somebody who wants people to just consume as much as protein as possible, go run, cycle, swim, lift weights, and be strong. I have stopped.
The latter part is fine.
Huh.
That you want everyone to have the energy, quality of life, strong joints, an able body, so that it can support you when you want to run, do your tasks, all that stuff. But there are other ways of doing it.
Yes.
And just consuming animal protein.
Yeah. So tell me, what is physical nutrition? And if physical nutrition, you mean the food that you intake. It's all about first eliminating certain things, adding certain things. And why specifically in the case of autoimmune disorders, the plant-based diets come up as the king. I just want to understand the science behind that as well. So let's start with physical nutrition and why specifically the importance of plant-based rice, and also go deep into, as much as you want, the supplements ecosystem, क्योंकि वो भी बहुत disputed है, and water, क्योंकि इसमें water में specifically हमने थोड़ा सा cold therapy की बात करी थी. I was always conflicted about cold therapy. मुझे नहीं समझ में आता था. I used to see a lot of endurance athletes religiously take cold therapies, religiously. और आजकल काफी सारे एथलीट्स और काफी सारे जो लोग वर्कआउट कर रहे हैं वो कोल्ड थेरेपी के बहुत बड़े वो हो गए हैं कि यू शुड. सो दीज 3 थिंग्स, प्लांट फिजिकल न्यूट्रिशन, इफ इट इज अबाउट डाइट, लेट्स डिस्कस ऑन प्लांट बेस्ड डाइट्स, व्हाई सप्लीमेंट्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड द रोल ऑफ वाटर.
So a plant-based diet and supplements for me come under the same category of physical nutrition. And water is the most important nutrient we can give ourselves, because we are 70% water.
Yeah.
You have pain, you drink adequate water, your pain will become duller. Your brain will work faster. Your circulation will be more, so your BMR will increase. So your calorie burning will go up. Right? Water has many benefits. It lubricates your joints. What are we trying to fix here? We are going to the root cause with autoimmune for the immune system, the root of which is through the gut, right? And through mental health. Now, the gut needs good bacteria, good flora. Where is that available? Not in animal protein. It's in the earth. It's in the plants. So when you eat more plants, then you have a microbiome of good gut bacteria. By the way, the brain has more neurons than the gut. And they travel and talk to each other through the vagus nerve.
It's also called the second brain, right? The gut, sometimes it's been referred to as the second brain, the intuition center.
It is the second brain, and they both talk. The brain and the gut talk to each other.
It's very interesting.
There has been research that shows that the same bad bacteria that was in the gut was also in the breast cancer cells.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
So a large part of, and now there's so much research on how gut bacteria can heal even incurable conditions, chronic conditions. They're talking about poop transfers. So a healthy or a healed person's poop being transferred to another person's body so that the good gut bacteria can grow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like poop transplant.
Poop transplant. So you get that from plants, right? So when you start having good gut bacteria, your gut and your brain neurons start talking to each other better. So the vagus nerve, which is a connect, the highway is clogged. That's why there's brain fog. That's why the signaling is weak. It starts clearing out. Okay. What is the most anti-inflammatory food on earth? Plants. What are we trying to do? Cut inflammation. So
Makes sense.
85%, you want to have, it's a very personal choice, Raghav. I am a vegetarian. I still used to, when I healed myself, I still used to have a little bit of chicken or fish. But I stopped because my foundation stands for sustainability.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a conflict because the
absolutely.
more we go plant-based, the better it is, the more reduced my carbon footprint is.
And we are being kinder to our nature. That is how we started the conversation with. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. And also there is research that shows that a plant-based diet has a reduced carbon footprint.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because of
Yeah.
water that is required for cows and their chara and beef and everything that really, hampers the entire ecosystem and increases the carbon footprint.
When you are beginning your journey, why the focus is on physical nutrition is because A, that is all you can do. You're so overwhelmed, right? B, your gut is not absorbing. It's even from the best foods, it will not absorb the nutrients because the gut is compromised. You have a leaky gut, which is a sign of an autoimmune condition. Hence, supplements. What are supplements? They supplement your food. Some people take only supplements and think it's all done. No. Unless if you're having a nutritious food plate, supplements are of no use.
Dr. Rachna, next, let's go to the second step. Emotional nutrition. What is emotional nutrition? Because it has the word nutrition in it as well. So, what is emotional nutrition?
Everything is about consuming. What's on your plate, you consume. And it goes in your body. What are the thoughts that you're putting in your head? It goes in the same body. And the traumatic thoughts will release extra acids in your gut and reduce absorption of nutrients. So physical and emotional nutrition are connected. So you've got to cut that traumatic cycle. The moment you cut the traumatic cycle, the physical nutrition starts getting absorbed. And the physical immune system starts feeling better. At the first level, when the physical immune system starts repairing, some amount of your pain and symptoms will start going away. That gives you strength. एक वो हिम्मत आ जाती है कि यार अच्छा कुछ तो अच्छा हो रहा है. I'm waking up a little fresher. Okay, I had constipation. Now I'm going twice a day. That's good. Then you start having good days. Then also what happens is that when you start having good days, there is a concept of limited energy for autoimmune warriors because we have chronic fatigue. So I hold them back saying, you're feeling very good and energetic, but you're not going to go to the mall and shop because then you'll have a relapse. Till the foundation is not strong, you've got to rest. You've got to follow the protocol.
So, what is it exactly that we do in the emotional nutrition? Pranayam. Pranayam is something that comes over here, right? That is what will help you in this thing.
The music. Music is very, very essential to the breath healing you. It's a mind-body intervention that will work more for an overthinking brain.
Yeah. And what's beautiful about the book, you have actually given a table of all the YouTube channels wherein you can go and get the music. I've actually taken a photo of that and I'm going to try that. That really helps.
I
People don't
just,
do that.
yes, I just uploaded last night a meditation for pain and anxiety, which is on my channel, which when your radio chatter is so high, then the instrumental music also doesn't work. So two things work.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
So two things work. One, I tell them, watch this music and then do your pranayam. Why? Because most of the music that I give has nature visuals which heal you. Mountains, lakes, ocean waves, trees, and then there is music. So they are watching it and they're doing the pranayam. The second thing which now I have started doing is, that's why I uploaded this meditation, is when a voice is guiding you, then you don't have to think. Then you start emptying your brain and
Yes.
following the direction of the voice and helping yourself get relaxed. So the muscle tension starts going away.
It's like you have outsourced this one task, so you automatically feel कि अच्छा ये भी सब मुझे नहीं करना है. That also.
Ah, true. Very well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the emotional nutrition part of it, wherein comes the pranayam and the music, and now I understand why. Now, gut repair. गट रिपेयर में वैसे तो हमने डील कर लिया है इसको, जब आपने बताया था द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ स्लीप एंड रेस्ट इन गट रिपेयर. सो आई स्टिल वांट यू टू से अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट द साइंस बिहाइंड हाउ sleep and rest help in gut repair.
So you're not eating anything, that's a given. So eat early is part of my book, right? They came up with fancy words like intermittent fasting, but in our culture, we always used to eat early, eat at sunset. So automatically you clocked a 15-hour fasting, and all, it used to be in other cultures also. That's why the word break fast got coined.
Yeah.
That breaking your fast of the last 15 hours, right? So when your gut is resting, and if you sleep late, if you eat later, your sleep is disrupted. So the gut and brain health is connected. If you eat wrong, your brain will be restless, sleep will be poor. If you eat primarily plant-based and you eat it early, 7:30, you're done with it. You need 3 hours of having dinner before you sleep. Your gut will be calmer because it's not working to digest. It's finished its job. So it's calm. So at that point in time, your sleep quality will improve. We discussed earlier, what is sleep? It is the universe's way of healing us. It releases all the stress of the previous day. Here we have decades of stress. So sleep becomes the tool to repair. Sleep reduces inflammation, and we are dealing with an inflammatory condition. Adequate sleep strengthens the immune system. Sleep reduces pain, right? Why do we say sleep over it? Because your brain is working faster the next day. So the brain needs the sleep to be able to send signals of calmness to the gut. How can it do that if it's not rested?
Makes sense. Yeah, beautiful. That's very beautiful. Now, the next step, which is the fifth step, is the movement. So movement, I do understand when you talk about specifically yoga. You have mentioned about yoga a lot, about how, and we have spoken a lot about it. Why spine? I want to understand from a biological and a scientific perspective why the movement and the health of spine is central to everything. Just a little word on it.
Brain is your supercomputer center connected to your neck, which is connected to your spine. When we are tense, the brain sends a signal of tenseness, so your muscles at the back become tense, right? So they become tense. That means that your spine becomes tense. But we are sitting a lot, we are not exercising. Any part of the body you don't exercise will decay. That is how accelerated aging happens.
Yeah, okay.
Then the brain is sending a signal through the nerves which are in the spine. There's a path, right? All connected. Now, at a mechanical level, if your spine is not strong, then your hips are weak.
Your what is weak? Your hips are weak.
Because it's connected, no?
ठीक है. Yes.
Your hips are weak, so what happens? Your hips get jammed. नीचे बैठने उठने में प्रॉब्लम होनी शुरू हो जाती है. lower back issues शुरू हो जाते हैं, right? So as per orthopedics, if your hips are weak, your knee will get impacted. If your knee is weak, your hip will get impacted, right? So your balance goes. So the spine is balancing your mental health with the signaling and your physical health with the structure.
So it's like a bridge between two things, the mental makeup as well as the physical structure of it.
Yes.
And that is why you're saying that the movement of it is very important. If it is not moving, it will decay. Anything that does not move decays.
Not used.
Not used.
What happens in older people? Why does dementia set in some and not in others? Is because some older people will use their brain for longer. Some of them will retire. Now, the brain is the one sending the signal to the body. So, if the brain is not functioning properly, then the body will chill and not exercise.
So that is why when we do yoga, your spine gets that movement as well. It's used. It gets used often, and it kind of acts like a lubricant as well. Is it true? Because I've read in a lot of books that yoga is very important for your internal organs as well. Does
Because
that
it
happen?
connects to the parasympathetic nervous system.
Because I've heard that it is like a
Organs are
massage to your internal organs.
yes. Massage to internal organs. Where do the organs reside? Your liver is not sitting there.
Yeah, नहीं,
Kidney is
बिल्कुल,
there. सब कुछ तो इधर ही है ना.
बिल्कुल.
वो signaling हो रहा है, right? When people get diagnosed with ovarian cancer, this it's called angry ovaries. When people get diagnosed with kidney failure, it is suppression and anger. Why? Because each organ communicates. There is something known as a heart attack from a broken heart.
Yes.
My father had, but which is also a scientifically documented syndrome. So the mind and body are connected. How many more examples do we need to
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, yeah. That's actually a very good thing to say. That how many more examples do we need before we get it into our thick skulls? Absolutely, absolutely. The last step, which I said was my favorite, is talk therapy. And in the book, you have mentioned a difference between a therapist and a counselor. We'll also touch that. What is talk therapy? What do you mean by talk therapy, and why specifically is it important in your entire ecosystem of restoration?
So, Raghav, I go to the root causes. I don't do the suppression tactics. I don't do the okay, eat generally healthy, eat this. I don't do all that. Anyone who told you or told any warrior that once you follow the steps, healing is easy, never healed themselves. Healing is difficult. The cause, one of the triggers is childhood trauma. One of the triggers is your overthinking brain. You need to talk to someone to get it off your chest. Most of the warriors I have come across are ambiverts, but bordering on very serious introverts, which means that they'd rather keep quiet than to buy their peace than say anything as a habit from childhood. But then they are pushed and nudged by me to talk, to write long emails. Then I give them tools to write emails because they can't type. So I say use voice to text. So they start using voice to text. I have written 4 books on voice to text. Then on the phone, it's easy to do voice to text on an email. So they are getting it out. Now, whether they get it out with a therapist like me, or their mother, or their best friend, or a stranger, the getting it out has to be in a safe, non-judgmental space. Because they kept quiet in the first place because they thought they'll be judged. So talk therapy along with all this is very important because vomit it out, yeah. What are you going to keep it?
And if you do keep it inside, does that also have some kind of a biological impact which can lead to something chronic? Because I've heard कि तुम जितना अंदर रखोगे, तुम जितना अंदर गुस्से में लोगों से रहोगे, it will lead to something huge. Is there some link to it leading to chronic ailments as well?
Yes, yes. So if you suppress anything, it causes disease. It causes inflammation. So when you take it out, you may still be an extreme introvert. I'm not asking you to change your personality. I'm just saying find your safe person, your safe space, and talk about it. Talk about what happened. Talk about what bothered you, because a lot of things that bother warriors, other people may make fun of them,
Yeah.
trivialize it, saying, what's the big deal in this? I am perfectly okay in this situation. Why are you not? You can't. Everyone's journey is different. Every single person on earth comes with their own mental makeup and their own footprint. So don't compare, don't be judgmental.
Yeah. And find people, talk to them. Even if you don't feel like opening up, it will really biologically help you. I mean, it's going to help you with your ailment and condition. Take it like a medicine. Take it like a medicine. This is a prescription that you have to talk. That's what it takes for people to get things into their heads.
Only patients of mine who have not healed with me, and it's a very small number, is the ones who have refused to talk.
That's very powerful. That, averting this step is what led to them not getting healed even after going through. It's very powerful. Yeah, no, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Then I'm upfront about it. I tell them. I email them saying this is the reason. Because antibodies, which is the hallmark of autoimmune condition. Antibodies are anti-CCP, ANA, other antibodies for different conditions. They rise with stress. Now, people don't even acknowledge the fact that in diabetes also, sugar rises with stress. You may not eat anything which is sweet or converts to sugar in the body, but there is something known as stress-related diabetes.
Yeah. No, that is beautiful. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something. Sorry.
So that's how the body responds. Yeah.
No, that's amazing, and I will urge everybody to read your book. It was really remarkable. The way you're given the schedule, the steps, the diet, everything, what needs to be done at what time is absolutely brilliant. But I think this was an incredible conversation, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we were able to do justice to this subject with the questions that we wanted to ask, because I really want people to know about this entire ecosystem and about you and your work.
I have my last words. Don't get disheartened if someone tells you it's not possible. You can heal from whatever they say you can't. Because ultimately you have the power. When I healed from my autoimmune, my joints were still not as healthy as they are today, as supportive as they are today. So I tried to play golf. I picked up a club, and my wrists gave way. Khatam. And, at that time, I was like, okay, I don't want to go back to that. There was still the trauma of what happened. So I left it and I told my dad, I said, I really want to play because I love the therapy that it offers because of the greens and the nature. But I can't play golf because my wrists are damaged. He just looked at me and he said, you'll find a way. 4 years ago, when I started playing, I told him, I said, I started playing golf. He said, see, I told you, you'll find a way. So remember that your mind will support your body. Just don't give up on it.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Your mind will support your body. Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Rachna, for this beautiful message. I mean, you are incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I continue to hope you keep on writing books on such subjects and, help as many people as possible.